and I were dating and first married, she always used to tease me about when we go to a restaurant, I always want my back to the wall. I want to be able to see the entrances, exits, and everything. Now she just accepts it. She just, okay, this is where you're going to sit, right? And, before I broke these, every week I was dry firing, and making sure that practicing my draw and turn the lights off, practice it in the dark and everything. And then this class, this class is all about having a strategy, a blueprint for self-defense. It's going to be a little different for you as a police officer than it will be for you as a civilian. But Sam and I are trying to present our best stuff as a strategy or a blueprint to get the fight from standing on the ground to where you can survive and you can wait till the police get there or whatever. This is what we've worked on our whole life for years and years, just building this strategy, and we're trying to pass it on to you. Sometimes when I start talking to my friends who don't do jiu-jitsu about jiu-jitsu, and I tell them all this, and oh yeah, by the way, I've got a knife on my side that's not where my gun is, and in case I can't get to my gun, and I can see it in their eyes, you're a little over the top on this, and yeah, maybe we are a little over the top. But as one person who's also a police officer said, you can never prepare too much for defending your own life or the lives of the people you love. There's no such thing as being overtrained. Well, there's something that's even more important than training to protect our bodies, and that is training to protect our souls. Jesus put it this way. He said in Matthew chapter 28, Matthew chapter 10, verse 28, he said, "Do not be afraid of those who kill the body, but cannot kill the soul. Rather be afraid of the one who can destroy both soul and body in hell." So that is, it kind of gives you perspective there. As important as what we're doing is, protecting our souls is even more important. It's also said in a different way in 1 Peter 3:15. It says, but in your hearts set apart Christ as Lord. Always be prepared to give an answer to everyone who asks you to give the reason for the hope that you have. Let me read that again. Always be prepared to give an answer to everyone who asks you to give the reason for the hope that you have. But do this with gentleness and respect. And so basically that's what I've tried to do by putting together this playlist. I've mentioned it to you guys on another day. George, this is something I haven't shared with you. But basically what I've done is I've taken the spirituality talks that we've done here on Friday mornings, and I've created a strategy or a blueprint for how to defend what I believe. And I've thought about it a lot more than I thought about jiu-jitsu or martial arts. I've thought about it a lot. And what I've basically done is taken maybe 13 or 14 different talks, ordered them in the way that logically it seems to make sense to defend the Christian faith against the top 15 beliefs in the world, 15 or more beliefs in the world. And this is my strategy, all right? And so basically what I can do with this is there's a QR code on here. People can scan the QR code. I'll leave this at a restaurant with a good tip. I won't leave it with a bad tip. That's not good for the faith. Or a friend, who I'm talking to, give this to him. So this is the new school on, right? This is my new idea for how to defend my faith, because it matters. Our souls matter more than jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu matters a lot, but our souls matter even more. This is the old school on. The old school on used to have this with a QR code on it, and basically it would take people to this document I've referred to many, many times as we've been doing these morning talks. And it's good but it's not as good as this. And the reason why it's not as good as this is we live in a Joe Rogan society where people will listen to things, but they're not going to read any books. Don't come to me with any books you want me to read. I may tell you I'll read it. I'm not reading it. I read too many books in seminary. I overread. I'm kind of like having a heat stroke, and then you're like, you don't want to be out in the heat. I don't want to see another book. I'll read the Bible, but don't give me a book. But I will listen to something. So like if you give me something to listen to, I'll listen to it while I'm hiking. I've got 2 hours to listen. While I'm driving, 2, 3, 4, 5 hours drive, I actually look for things to listen to. I'll listen to a Joe Rogan podcast. I'll listen to a book or whatever. And so the old deal was whenever I would talk to Jehovah's Witnesses and they would give me their pamphlets and their information, I'd say, all right, I'll make a deal with you. I'll read your stuff if you read my stuff. That was the old deal. The new deal is, hey, whatever you got out there about religion, whatever you got about you're basing your whole eternity on, I'll listen to it. I'll listen to it for the same amount of time. If you listen to mine, I'll listen to you. If you'll fight with me, I'll fight with you. Gentlemen's rules, if I tap, you tap. You see what I'm saying? But this is so much more important than jiu-jitsu. So I have these. This is the last of the playlist today. This is the summation of it. And so we'll continue to do these talks, but I won't add it to the playlist. It'll just be, off the playlist. C.S. Lewis actually did the same thing. C.S. Lewis, if you don't know who he was, I believe he died in 1963. I think the same year Martin Luther King Jr. died. It doesn't matter. I'm chasing a rabbit here. So, paw. He's an atheist, and he became a Christian. He's a very smart guy. And his journey to becoming a Christian is basically similar to this, right? So this is what he did. In that day and time, he did it on radio. He had like a talk time, and everyone listened to the radio back then. Nobody listens to the radio now, right? And then that moved from the radio to he compiled a book, and it's called Mere Christianity. And this is just one section of his book. He says here in this book, now remember, this is his defense of his faith, moving from an atheist to a Christian. He says, everyone has warned me not to tell you what I'm going to tell you in this last book. They all say, the ordinary reader does not want theology. Give him plain and practical religion. I have rejected their advice. I do not think the ordinary reader is such a fool. Theology means the science of God. And I think any man who wants to think about God at all would like to have the clearest and most accurate ideas about Him which are available. You are not children. Why should you be treated like children? And so what I've tried to do in these talks is give you the real stuff, the real stuff. And if you don't believe me, the value of this guy is I have endnotes in here to show where I got the research that I've been doing. This isn't just something I came up with my crayon book. This is years and years of work and research, a doctorate that I earned. I mean, just like this, they don't give these away. They don't give those away. You earn it and you work. And so there's a reason why I've put the work into this. Like, just very similar to what C.S. Lewis did, because we're fighting for our souls. We're fighting for the souls of others. And if God says if we really love other people, then we'll be like that sower. The Bible says, Jesus says his sower went out to seed. He just threw the seed. He didn't know where. Maybe they're just going to take this with a tip, say thank you, and throw it away. I've done my part. You see what I'm saying? Maybe I give this to a friend and I say, hey, if you listen to this, I'll listen to that. I listen to that, but they never listen. Hey, it doesn't matter. I did my part. You see what I'm saying? And we have to be active. But in your hearts, set apart Christ as Lord. Always be prepared to give an answer to everyone who asks you to give the reason for the hope that you have. But do this with gentleness and respect.